hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work, hard work, hard work.
Fall in.
Hey, what's going on? What's good? What's good, everybody? Y'all know what it is. Excuse me, a little other than the weather. Y'all know what it is. It's your favorite veteran of the next first formation. You got myself, Trey the Commish, my man Cornelius, also known as the People's Coach. And we got something for y'all this morning. Of course, conversation, do things a little differently. We're just gonna have a free for all. We're just gonna go ahead and talk. Feel free to tap in, and of course, just like anything else, tap in and say, give your piece. But I think we got a lot to talk about this morning as it comes down to what's been going on in every way, form, and fashion. You got blowouts. We got service members. We got service members that just that basically just stayed to defend the nation. Basketball, we got suspensions, all that. We're gonna tap it in. CC, what's going on? Correction. Cornelius, what's going on this morning, brother?
Man, it's did you see the post-game interview?
I did not.
Did you see?
What's going on, Mike? Good, glad to have information. What's going on, Nate? ISO, what's going on? Glad to have information. Well, what happened? Which post game talking about after last night after the game's post game interview?
After the Thursday night football game, did you see the post game, the press conference for Brandon Staley, man?
No, I think I caught a back end of it, or I think I caught a clip of it where I think someone asked him about his job or something like that, and his response or something like that. Is that what was said?
That's what I'm talking about. Like, a reporter actually asked the question. It should have been asked a long time ago. Do you think you deserve to keep your job? Oh man.
Okay, that's what they say he was cooked. So I thought I heard it because I didn't hear the question. I heard the back end of the question. And so in hearing that, I heard Staley said, I definitely think I should. And he said something about being there 3 years, but that's to have the gall to do that. That's so disrespectful. I mean, but he's doing his job. He's doing his job.
Man, he's not doing his job. That was a good question. Like, wow, man. Man, the team gave up on him, man. Like, you clearly saw it last night. The Raiders didn't score no points. They didn't score no points against Minnesota. Zero.
Well,
Zero.
You know what? I hear it. I keep hearing that, Cornelius, and I keep hearing that. But when I look at it, I also think technically, when you look at it, yes, the Raiders didn't score any points, but Minnesota didn't score any points till the last few minutes either. So it wasn't like it was a utter annihilation. They basically came out, saying LA the Raiders didn't score any points, but Minnesota only scored 3, and then they came out like a tsunami last night. And so, but you think it was a sense of the Chargers gave up?
You saw it clearly, man. Like, you could have held them dudes. You gave up 63 points. Like, even with all the turnovers, you let them score touchdown after touchdown. You could have held them to 3 on a few of those, man. Come on, man. Like, the effort just wasn't there, man. They gave up. Like, some of those touchdowns, like, especially on the offensive end for the Raiders, some of those touchdowns, those dudes weren't even in the picture. Like, the only one I saw really giving effort, and I think he's going to always give effort, is Khalil Mack, man. I feel bad for Khalil Mack, by the way. Like, this is the second time that it happened to him, right? Like, he left the Raiders thinking he was going to the Bears, thinking he was going to do something. They had one hot season. He ain't had no hot seasons. The teams haven't had no hot seasons since he's been in LA, since he's been in Georgia. So, man, but if at halftime when they talked, did you see when they talked to him at halftime? I was like, that lady she had the nerve to ask that man questions when they losing 42-0. Like, and he stopped and answered the questions. I was like, dude, you should just be hanging your head. Why are you talking? Like,
they is unfortunate in those situations. They got to still speak. So last night, of course, if y'all catch it, let me run y'all down. Last night, Thursday Night Football, which is usually a horrible game. There's only been a couple of good games when you look at it from a culture standpoint. It comes down to these games on Thursday Night Football. But last night, the Los Angeles Chargers were visiting Las Vegas against the Raiders, in which the Raiders put that thigh out on them, winning at one point up 56-0 until they got a quick score. Easton Stick, who is currently now the starting quarterback for the Chargers, only due to I think is Herbert injury, or are they just shutting them down?
Oh, he done for the season. He got a thumb injury. He had thumb surgery.
Yes, okay. 20 Easton Stick, who is only quarterback on their team right now, except for the backup quarterback. As we know, Dugan, if you know anything, last year's TCU's starting quarterback. He was the starting quarterback for the TCU team that got throttled by 60 points in the national championship game last year by the Georgia Bulldogs. But Easton Stick was at the helm, 23 for 32, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception, 3 sacks for 23 yards. We're going to get to that in a second because those don't sound like bad numbers. But when you look at how it came, it's like, yo. So this is a funny. Well, I'll continue. I say a Spiller carried the ball 16 times for 50 yards. Joshua carried totaled it 5 times for 22. Joshua Palmer, for the Chargers, was 4 receptions on 4 targets, 113 yards, and a touchdown. You say, I do need to say. Gerald Everett, 5 receptions for 41 yards. Austin Eckler, 4 for 29. Quentin Johnson, 2 for 23 himself. So it's actually a little proficient when you think in this sense, but the game was just out of hand already for the Las Vegas Raiders. So a really quick backdrop right quick, Cornelius. So when last week in one of my fantasy football leagues, I had to pick up a quarterback. And I had no idea who I was going to pick up because there really was slim pickings. Like it was Zach Taylor was in the pool at the time. Joe Flacco was in the pool. So I really had no idea who I was going to pick up or what I was going to do. So I picked up Aiden O'Connell. Do you know Aiden O'Connell got me 5 points in fantasy last week? And and not to mention the fact that I had Taysom Hill, and he didn't even play. But I had Evan Ingram on the bench who scored 32 points in fantasy. I was sick, but needless to say, I ended up getting the win by Derrick Henry being able to carry me across the line, although he almost wasn't successful. But in any case, it all came out of that. So as soon as that Monday night game ended, I dropped O'Connell. I was like, I'm not playing this game. Of course, what does he do? He comes back 20 for 34, 248 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 sack or an interception. Not a bad night. Zaire White was basically at the hip, carried the ball the most for the Raiders, as he was 17 carries for 69 yards and a touchdown. Josh Jacobs played last night. Amir Abdullah, 6 for 32. And Brandon Bolden was 2 for 25 and a touchdown. Of course, Devontae Adams finally got back into what he's accustomed to with 8 receptions for 101 yards, 1 touchdown. Trey Tucker, who was he? Where did he come from? Doesn't matter. 2 touchdowns with 3 receptions, 59 yards receiving. Mike Mayer, 4 for 39 and a touchdown. Jacoby Myers, 2 receptions for 32 yards and a touchdown. They was throwing the ball all over the yard. Even Jacoby Myers threw one. Now that you've heard that 63-21 was the ending score, do you think it was Coach Pierce just basically calling off the dogs at the end point, or did you think they really caught them slipping? I know they caught them slipping on that one reception in the third quarter to Palmer.
Yeah, it was just garbage touchdowns. It was, like it was over. It was over a long time ago. That was embarrassing. Like I said, I mean, I get all the turnovers, put you in the hole, but to give up that many touchdowns, 8 different people scored for the Raiders last night, like
Including
offensive and defensively. 8 different people, man. When have you ever seen that in an NFL game? 8 different people score a touchdown. I've never seen it in my lifetime.
I mean,
in an NFL game, I've never seen it.
Now you have. It was. I think the most impressive one was the pick six.
Yeah, the one-handed pick six.
Yeah, the way he read the screen.
Yeah, Jack Jones or whatever.
So in when you take a look at this, do you think it could have been possibly just Easton Stick wasn't ready for the big lights, and say he just folded under the pressure, or do you just think all it was nothing to do on this day?
He played pretty good, man. It wasn't him. It was like all the fumbles, man. Like you can't run the ball like for the you can't run the ball for the receivers. You can't hold on to the ball for the receivers. It was just sloppy play. Period. I mean, I just saw a Chargers team that didn't care last night. like they didn't care. Like maybe Easton Stick was the only one that cared, but I'm just saying, like they done playing for Staley. That it's time for the coach to go. When your team come out like that, no effort, none whatsoever. Yeah, that's a rebellion against the coach. We've seen this before, man. Like in all sports, we've seen this before. Like if the team don't want you, they're not gonna respond well. Like the defense didn't even try. Like I said, like come on, man. It's the Raiders. You can hold them to 3. You can hold them to 3 points.
A total
on some of those drives, you can hold them to 3.
Have it ever been a time in which you've seen the team win or come back from or being able to be victorious after 5 turnovers?
Well, you've seen it before. Like I'm not just saying victorious. I'm saying competitive. Like y'all could have competed. Okay. Like just compete, man. It's like for real. Like you gave up. Like it was 9 touchdowns scored. 9 by the Raiders, man. Just let that sink in. Last time we saw this, we was bashing the Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos against the Miami Dolphins.
The Denver Broncos clearly gave up that game, but somehow you see now they giving maximum effort. Maybe the Chargers, maybe they'll recharge, but you only got 3 games left. But it's for me, they've been look how many close games they've been in. Like, so the players can play.
Yeah.
That's an indication that they gave up. And that was a rivalry game. This is a division rivalry game. When have you known a division rivalry game to be this bad? Unless it's like my Cowboys like beating up on the Giants or something, man. Like you don't see, and we don't beat them that bad. Or or like y'all, the San Francisco 49ers beating up on like Seattle or something, man. You don't see it that bad though, right? Like you don't see a beating that bad. Come on. Come on, man.
So Donovan, of course, asked you, I think at this point Colin Kaepernick should get a call. No, I do not, unfortunately.
No, I think if my response would be if you gonna give, I go Cam Newton before I go Colin Kaepernick right now. Kaepernick been out of the game way too long, and as you can see, it's not an easy thing. Like all these backup quarterbacks.
Joe Flacco if Joe Flacco can, then I don't know.
But Flacco was on a roster last year, Trey. He played games last year. He played for the Jets last year. You gotta, he came in and played a couple of games for the Jets last year and helped them win a game or 2 last year. So Flacco not too far removed. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you was gonna give Kaepernick a shot, man, it's about 2-3 years too late.
Like,
yeah, I think that's like how old is Kaepernick now? How Kaepernick? What like? He can't be. He got to be like 35, right? At least 35, right?
He's in his 30s. So yeah. Kaepernick, like you said, Cam. You still have Cam that's out there. There's a couple of other ones where you say that you probably would probably be preferable as opposed to given an opportunity as opposed to Colin Kaepernick or to be successful. Cam Newton.
Well, look at Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick was sitting up there on the Thursday night panel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's some quarterbacks. I think. Where's Carson Wentz? Like I would go Carson Wentz before I go Colin Kaepernick right now. And I don't like Carson Wentz at all. I don't like.
Who does Carson Wentz play? Is on the Rams roster.
I'm just saying I would give Carson Wentz, like he wasn't on the roster early on in the season.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. In which I think he would have been picked up if it wasn't someone would. I think at this point, if the Rams hadn't snatched him up, he would be on somebody's roster at this point because you need, like you said, all these quarterbacks is going down and stuff like that. You need someone to be able to, and I think Carson Wentz would have probably been one of my first selections, being that Joshua Dobbs is on the roster now, because honestly, excuse me, Joshua Dobbs was Fitzpatrick this year. It has taken over that role in a sense, but of course, unfortunately, Fitzpatrick was able to win games. I don't know what's going on with Dobbs right now in Minnesota.
Dobbs, I think it went to his head, man. He benched now. Like he done. He benched. I think they going Mullins now. Like they starting Mullins. I think
DJ Mullins. I mean, Nick Mullins.
Yeah, they going Mullins now. I think it's done for. I think Dobbs. I think you touched on it last week. Once Dobbs good without knowing the playbook. Once he know the playbook, you see it gets in his head or something. But I also think it's the fame, like doing all those shows, doing all the sports shows, getting all the light right now, and taking his focus away from the field. Like I think he was better when he didn't have no light. You know what I mean? Like when he was just playing ball. So yeah. It's unfortunate that Dobbs get a shot and then they take it away from him. But it'll be even worse if Mullins perform bad and they have to go back to him like the Jets had to do Zach Wilson. It's a lot of backup quarterbacks right now playing though. When you think about it, what you think about that? Like a lot of these, like Burrow is Browning playing. I mean, it's a lot of backup quarterbacks.
There is,
and a lot of quarterbacks went down there, especially in the AFC where you didn't expect it. Even though I think that made the AFC a little bit more competitive with some of those quarterbacks going out as far as playoff picture.
So to answer your question, when looking at it, I think what comes about is what's going on, B? What's going on, fam? Glad to have information. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to chop it up. I ain't heard from you in a while, fam. What's going on, Leslie? Glad to have information with us. That's what we do. We win championships, Leslie. That's what we do. But
stop it. Stop
because everyone wants to hate on the fact that if it was anyone else besides the Lakers, we have been having this conversation. We'll definitely tap into that when we get into topics.
Yeah, I was like, we'll talk about that because I'm not knocking the Lakers. I'm just saying, stop it. That's what we do. We really check it.
So, like you was just saying, asking about the quarterbacks, right? So, one thing that I think what we realize what goes on is, and which was it added to the mystique of Brock Purdy because no one knew. Everyone was preparing for Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, they prepared for Trey Lance, then Jimmy Garoppolo, which was easy because he had been there for a while. But no one knew about Brock Purdy outside of what he did in college, right? And so he was a hot stepper. He was going, on fire until we ran into a buzzsaw where he didn't have the Debo-less games. Changed the trajectory of the team. Not to mention the fact of when he got injured. But then, of course, like we said, the Dobbs in some effort. So what I see and what I think what usually happens, what makes these players hot for a second is they're not being no one knows of them for the most part. They're not expected. You catch them late. You go back and check the tape on them or whatever you can see, and then you have to basically prepare for what the unknown. And some of them catch these people slipping. But then what happens? Teams decide they see tape on them. They start to develop game plans for them, and then even some falter or some continue to rise. Browner still on the rise, even though I think he might meet some resistance this week. Easton Stick, we might see something different come the next game in which he plays. But like you said, he wasn't bad. It was obviously it just was something else that was going on, but he wasn't bad for his stat line. Who else is picked up on the starter reins? At one point, we was talking about Joshua Dobbs. He had that same type of start. Gardner Minshew, which is surprising because Minshew's been around a long. But so sometimes we start to look at it, and you can see like some of these players actually could probably play, and it's just they just needed an opportunity. But you know, what I'm saying their opportunities probably is going to be few because they're like you just said backups. But I mean, we'll see. I like to see continue. I want those teams to continue that because I want to see some of these teams in the Super Bowl. I mean, in the playoffs to make it easy.
I don't know. Like it's just like for me, I'm watching too many. Backup quarterbacks in situations, and some of them are like you said, some surprising, but for a lot of them, some of them not that impressive. It's like I agree with Brady now. Like when Brady made that statement a few weeks ago about the development of players, it seems to be lacking in the NFL because some of these quarterbacks they should be a little bit further along than what they are. Not even just the backup, some of the starters even. Like I think he's right. The development of the league has fallen off a little bit because you know back in the days, man, the backup quarterbacks used to come in and be tough. You know what I mean? I mean like Frank Reich could play, man. Remember Doug Flutie before he became a starter, he could come off the bench and play. Like a lot of those quarterbacks could come in and play.
All of them used to be a plethora of quarterbacks.
You remember Steve Young was a backup quarterback for Montana. Like he could play.
Young, Steve Bono, like they always like they came in and was successful. It's like the backup quarterback was where you wanted to be for the most part. If someone fell off, you wanted your backup in the game, and that's what, like you said, it was the development was different. Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? Now we have Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, and Love isn't looking too bad. So it's definitely different, and it goes to what I was saying. And I know you do not agree with it, but all you need is a mediocre quarterback and some weapons, and you can win. A mediocre quarterback and you can win. I mean, except for y'all, if y'all got to start Trey Lance, I don't know. Oh, we don't know. We might see.
Well, I can tell you what I think. Trey Young will perform better now after seeing that things ain't so sweet. Like you can lose your spot at any time. I think he'll come in and give max effort. Not saying that he wasn't before, but I think he'll come in and I think he'll be more ready. And I think Mike McCarthy might even be a better fit for him, you know, than Kyle Shanahan, who man, when you got a championship squad, you ain't really got a lot of time to develop players, right? Like the Cowboys, we trying to get on that level, NFC championship games. We ain't been there in a while. You know what I'm saying? Y'all dudes already there. Y'all ain't really got time to be wasting, you know, trying to get a quarterback ready. So I see the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like I see the difference in the coaching styles. Shanahan's a good coach. You know how I feel about him. I feel like he gonna cost y'all in the long run, but I still think he's a good coach. But man, nobody, like you said, Brock Purdy, he's surprising everybody, Mr. Irrelevant, but we've seen it before, right? Like you got to think the GOAT was number what? 199.
Yeah.
The GOAT was number 199 in the draft. So Aaron Rodgers, he didn't go like in the top 10. I mean, a lot of these quarterbacks, like I think that's where some of these teams making the mistakes, taking the quarterbacks early when you can clearly get one late. Like you can clearly get one more sufficient later in the later rounds. You see, it's not working in New England. No matter what quarterback they try. I know Bailey Zappi just won a game last week, but 3 games, 3-10, or whatever your record is, like it's just not working. Like certain teams, you wonder why it's not working because Mac Jones came from the same stock that Tua Tagovailoa came from, and remember Jalen Hurts played there a little while. He came from Alabama. Like this guy played. When you watch Mac Jones, do you say, man, this guy played for Nick Saban? What?
It's no different for him. So it's definitely the college system in state. I think what it is, without a doubt, because like you just say, some people continue to develop. And that's the development. I don't think Mac Jones is developing. We're going to see what Bryce Young is going to do. We see what Tua and Hurts have done. Who else has come from there? What's his name? Is it McCarron? Who was the quarterback before any of them? I think it was McCarron.
Yeah, McCarron.
McCarron, yeah, McCarron. We see how what he's doing. Like I think they just don't develop. Those players don't develop. It's the system and being a quarterback in the college in Nick Saban's system, and they don't continue to develop. What would we have seen and take in consideration? Hurts was in the Alabama system. He left and went to Oklahoma. When he went to Raleigh, so he was like his development is different. So and then he is continuing to develop. Now I hope what he has done, what is going to be a reflection of Lincoln Riley, because I'm not too comfortable in Lincoln Riley quarterbacks. And you look at where Lincoln Riley is, we already got a bad rap when it comes to quarterback when it come out of USC, and then you look at Lincoln Riley, and then you kind of look and see like Lincoln Riley got Baker Mayfield and Colin Murray, and then so now Caleb Williams, and you start to wonder like, okay, and then now he's a USC quarterback, so it's like, do we want to put that? So it's a melting pot of a bunch of different things in state when it comes down to it. I just hope the latter is going to be helpful, because I think some of that is like maybe it's not on Nick Saban and his system, it's on the individual, and we see some continue to develop and others have faltered. And or could you think it could be a situation where Mac Jones just needs to be somewhere else, or is he just a buck?
I think he's gonna get a shot somewhere else. Maybe maybe not right away, but as a backup. But yeah, I mean, it's a combination of things with me with Mac Jones. I think he regressed. I think he was better as a rookie when he didn't know any better. And then, last year he went through the whole Matt Patricia, Joe Judge thing or whatever. However they was doing the offensive play calls or development and stuff. And now you got Bill O'Brien. See, but my thing is they even brought in your guy back from Alabama. They brought in Bill O'Brien, and you still this sorry. So I think some of it's on Mac Jones on his own shoulders of what he's trying to do. You know what I mean? Because they went and got you, because Bill Belichick went and got you your guy that you played for, your offensive guy that you played for in college. He brought him over. And you still, you know what I'm saying? And you still put that out there. You still laying eggs out there. I think Mac Jones, I don't think he wants to be in that whole New England situation.
So going back in, what's going on, TT? What's going on? Glad to thank you guys to have information with us. I should be seeing you this weekend, I think. So of course I should see you tomorrow, actually, if you're coming through for a community service. So going back into my man Chris's, right? You know what I'm saying? Sarin B's comments, right? he's a Saints fan, or I mean Saints is in New Orleans. Saints is a squad.
Yeah.
And he was going back and he said, bull crap, I got a mediocre quarterback with a bunch of weapons and we suck. So a couple things to touch on that. Does New Orleans have a bunch of weapons?
Yeah, they have. Man, come on, Kamara still can play. Like I said, Michael Thomas probably didn't do what he was supposed to do, but you got to look at it. You got Olave. You got other guys that's stepping up. You know what I mean? You got some young players that's stepping up. It's your quarterback. It's definitely Derek Carr. Like Derek Carr he was projected to help them win, but now he a setback. Like he's been a setback. Like no way you move the ball up and down the field and then he gonna throw it to the other team. Like he looked good one drive, the next drive is like, man, what happened? So yeah. So I look at that. I think it's just he not good, man. I don't think he not good enough. We know Derek Carr is not good enough. He was all right some of his career as a Raider, but you got it. Like I always go back to this. I had the privilege of watching his big brother play, man.
Derek,
being from Houston. Being in Houston.
But they did Derek.
He wasn't that good.
Give him anything.
David Carr wasn't that good. I mean, I'm just saying,
David. But he ain't really have anything too. I was like, he ain't have weapons, but
he wasn't that good. Even when they put a little team around him, he wasn't that good, man. Like Derek Carr hasn't really been that good. It's just that he was picked by the Raiders. And so, sometimes when you put on, sometimes the jersey kind of try to make the person. I always thought he was overhyped. it was case in point. I think they made one playoff appearance his whole time. 9 years or whatever in the Raider uniform, 8-9 years. I think they went to the playoff one time. I said that before too. I was saying, like, you didn't like what I said when I said the Saints should start Taysom Hill. That's their best choice to win. I mean, Winston gonna give you what Winston give you. He gonna look good. He gonna throw 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions if you leave him. If you bank on him,
you just gotta hold them interceptions. Your defense can hold those interceptions.
Right, on the same game, in the same game. That's what Winston gonna give you. That's been a staple of his career, man. But when I would go with Taysom Hill because I'm trying to win. Like, if I'm trying to win that division right now, Taysom Hill give you the best chance to win that division.
So, but
that's just my opinion.
But going with Taysom Hill, I ask you this: if going with Taysom Hill, you remove that. If you start Taysom Hill at quarterback, you remove. And just like Cypher said, Hill is not the answer. If you go with Taysom Hill at that quarterback as the starter, you remove what he gives from the Wildcat and all that type of stuff. As though now it's no longer a staple or try to catch you slipping. Now it's a situation to where he's he's there. So that's why I think that doesn't help with Taysom Hill, because the game plan they have with Taysom Hill is what gets Taysom Hill where he gets. Every once in a while, put him at tight end, put him at running back, flare him out, put him at wide receiver, put him at quarterback. If you start him at quarterback, you're going to lose all that, and now you're left with trying to use somebody else that's in your offense.
No, you can still run them plays with that. But what I'm saying is, if you start Taysom Hill, y'all got to remember, years ago, before he got a bad rep, the Denver Broncos rolled Tim Tebow out in a season, and they didn't have to, and they went to the playoffs, and they won a playoff game. They did a lot. It can be done, man. You come out running Wildcat, come out running RPOs, make that a staple of your offense. You got Kamara. You got a decent backup running back. Man, you got decent pieces to pull that off with. I'm saying, if you want to win, that's how you're going to win in New Orleans right now, because Derek Carr not the answer. Derek Carr, what y'all winning with Derek Carr right now? What's y'all record? Using him and Winston, because Derek Carr gets hurt every game. He gets hurt every game. So if he hurt and Winston was hurt, then who would you have to go with? You would have to go with Taysom Hill, right? So go with Taysom Hill, and you'll probably win some games. He give you the best chance to win. I'm not saying it's gonna be perfect. I'm not saying he gonna drop dimes like some of these other quarterbacks like Dak is doing right now, like a Mahomes or something. I'm just saying you can win games with that. For real, you can win games with that.
Y'all hear the coach? If you want to win, put Taysom Hill in. So, but yeah. I ask you this. So I see what Cypher's saying. What Mo was saying, that Hill isn't as good as Tebow. Do you agree with that, or is Hill better than? Do you think Hill is better than Tebow?
I think from what I've seen there about maybe Tebow probably had a little bit more heart, maybe championship medal in him or something, but he throw I think he throw a little bit better than Tebow. I mean, from the passes I've seen Hill throw, they let him throw a little bit in that offense, and from what I've seen him do, I think it's a little bit better than Tebow. And y'all got to remember, Hill was drafted by Sean Payton, so Sean Payton knew how to get the most out of him. Sean Payton is a great offensive mind. I always thought that. Like, I thought he was overrated as a coach, but I thought he got a good offensive mind. But my point is, Hill, like a guy like Sean Payton wouldn't bring you on the team if you don't have some of the essentials and know how to use you. And then we got to remember, Payton was the one gave him the contract. Payton was, he signed a $95 million contract or something.
Backup quarterback, a third string quarterback making second string money.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. So Hill, the confidence is there. I mean, I totally understand it because I see the comments and I see people saying, right. But he can give you that other element. I think he can help you win under center right now when y'all don't have anything, y'all struggling to get anything going with these other guys, man. And the Saints defense, it's been pretty good for some games, but it ain't been what we thought it was going to be either.
Yeah, true. Like I said, all the way around. I had them winning the division, and it's looking like that is a myth at this point.
Me too. They right there though, Trey. Like they not
Oh,
far
yeah,
out. I think.
all of them. It's like it literally is no cap whatsoever. It's literally a toss up between Atlanta, Tampa Bay, and New Orleans. Unfortunately, Carolina is out of there. At this point, do you think they should just go ahead and sit Bryce, or do you think they should let him continue to play?
Man, you should let him play. Like Bryce having a bad year. But remember, the greats, some of the greats you ever seen had bad rookie seasons. Like Peyton Manning led the league in interceptions his rookie year. You know what I mean? And I think they won 3 games. So, think about where Troy Aikman started. Like Troy Aikman, like they were 1-15 or something in his first couple of years. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it takes a minute sometimes. So I think Bryce, you just got to keep him out there. Now you got to build around him. For me, it's what is Carolina get a good coach in there, man, and are they going to build around him, man, or are they going to just leave him hanging out to dry?
Who do you think is a good candidate for that job and to be able to bring the best out of Bryce?
I think that's a job for now. You was talking Kellen Moore or Bieniemy last week. I think those two should be in the running for that Carolina job. I think they'll do a good job with a quarterback. Like those two, they run dynamic offenses for the most part. I think they'll do good with somebody like Bryce Young. I also like Byron Leftwich. I think Byron Leftwich would be a good choice for that job also.
We ain't even heard Byron Leftwich's name, Byron Leftwich's name in a while since I didn't understand it. Him losing the opportunity to take over once Aaron stepped down. But we'll see. See if he gets back in there, or see if someone is going to bring him in is going to make the best for Bryce Young. So, of course, I think we talked about it before. The simple fact about the upcoming draft, the 2024 draft, in which the expectancy is Caleb Williams for the most part. If Caleb Williams comes out, due to he might not, depending on who he's going to go, who's going to be the number 1 pick. Do you think he will come out if New England is the number 1 pick?
No, I think you lay up on the New England job because, and I would only lay up on it because I like the idea of a move like that being made because I think you'll learn how to win. I think you'll learn how to win. But New England ain't been doing a lot of winning lately with with Belichick. So I think they got to figure out Belichick first. For me, it'll depend on what role Belichick playing. If he's still GM and coach, no, don't go there. Don't do that. Because he's struggling with both right now. I think they should limit him. The ownership got to step in and say, Bill, pick one.
He ain't picking none of them. Do you even allow? Do you feel for those out there, any Saints fans, Patriot fans that's out there that's tapping in? Please tap in. Do you even want to pick another quarterback? Like even for Chicago, y'all are 3 to 4 years from just selecting quarterbacks, quote unquote franchise quarterbacks, and here we are again.
I think for me, Trey, look, the Patriots should take Justin Fields. Like if Chicago go take a quarterback, I think Justin Fields, I'm telling you, Justin Fields in New England, it'll be a good move, and it'll probably resurrect Bill Belichick's career right now. A career that's definitely on life support. Like, it'll probably just revive his career right now. He needs something fresh like that, man. I think he could go Justin Fields, man. Like, I don't think he should take a quarterback in the draft because one thing about Bill is we know him lately that he's not good with these younger players, man. So get some players that's already established in the league. He always had a good thing going with that. New England won championships with him just drafting here and there with some, he never drafted real high, but him drafting later on in the draft versus first, he got most of his players. Julian Edelman, them, they wasn't like first round players, man. Them dudes was like second, third round guys, man. So, I think he got to stick to what works for him. Go get you a veteran quarterback. Fields could probably be that guy.
I just don't see it. Y'all got that much confidence in Mo. Y'all got that much confidence in Fields for real?
Yes, man. I think that him getting with a championship-minded coach. I mean, because what Bill is good at, if Bill got a good coach, you got to think Tom Brady just didn't, like the GOAT just didn't throw the ball all over the place, man. In his career, like everybody be trying to make it sound like he threw the ball certain seasons he did. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, he managed games, like especially early on. So I think Belichick can make Fields a game manager good enough to win some games and rely on defense, like get a defense like he had before. You got to think, what 3 out of the 6 Patriots Super Bowls, they won by like a field goal or something. Man, he was kicking field goals. It wasn't like they was blowing people out. It was, they relied on bend but don't break defense. I think if he gets somebody like that, he good. You know what I'm saying? I think if he do that, he'll be all right.
But is that Fields? I mean, I remember. I would be honest. I would prefer the 49ers had drafted Fields as opposed to drafting Lance. And then I don't know where we would have been at right now. Of course,
y'all would have won a Super Bowl. Y'all would have won a Super Bowl already if y'all had got Fields.
If he had took Fields, you think we would have been? It would have been.
Y'all would have won a Super Bowl already.
I don't like.
Y'all would have won the Super Bowl already.
We'll be on quest for 7 instead of quest for 6.
Right.
Of course, George says he doesn't think he think Caleb is getting money to stay. Of course, do you think? I don't know. I don't know. I think Caleb staying is like, I think that wouldn't be the case because Caleb's father and I'm presuming Caleb have already stated that they will stay another year depending upon what's going to go on in the NFL. Brady was the system QB until he became the system. Fields is the most overhyped player in the league. Okay. Like I say, come on, bro. It's too early for shenanigans.
I'm serious. Come on, man. Y'all would have won a Super Bowl. Like the 49ers would have won a Super Bowl by now. Like, you got to remember, man, Fields came in a winner. And then with that running ability that he got along with Debo and McCaffrey, man, come on. It would have been unstoppable. And even when it was just Debo, when you had Debo and Ayuk before you had McCaffrey, like you have this guy on your team, man, you probably win it.
Because you gotta keep in mind, before McCaffrey, we had Mossert, Wilson, and Elijah Mitchell. Like, we had a running back by committee in San Francisco. It's just when McDaniels left, we had McCaffrey at that time. They went ahead and did him a solid and he sent them Wilson and Mossert both, and we kept Mitchell. So, I mean, we have weapons.
I mean, that's what I was saying. Like Shanahan, and with Shanahan drawing up schemes, imagine what kind of schemes he would have with Fields back there in the shotgun or in the pistol alongside McCaffrey and stuff right now, man. Imagine that kind of offense with Debo and Ayuk on the outside, Kittle in the middle. Man, imagine what kind of it'll be hard to pick. It's already hard to stop with Bryce or with Brock Purdy, but Purdy can't run like that. Add that speed element that Justin Fields have, man, and then what defense is gonna do? Like you got to pick your poison. I mean, I'm just saying. I think it'll make the offense more dynamic than it already is, and y'all got a good offense with Brock Purdy. So imagine what it'll be with somebody like Fields. Like, it'll be wide open, and you're not asking him. Like, the beauty of San Francisco's system is that you only have to read the field every now and then, and that's only when y'all chasing. Like, when y'all chasing a lead, which y'all haven't done very much, in recent years. So it's like y'all normally up. So normally those little passes, I mean, come on, man. I think y'all offense would be dynamic, and I think in a playoff situation that would be better than what's going to happen to y'all this year in the playoffs.
He said Fields can't throw intermediate pass, so he would. But I guess he's saying he'd be horrible on the West Coast offense. Lynch should have been fired for what he traded for Trey Lance. And then his consistently overthrows 10 to 15-yard passes.
Yeah, but I think he's getting. I think what you seeing lately since he came back from that injury is you seen a better Justin Fields lately. I think you've seen a better Justin Fields. I think him watching the what's the name, Bagent or whatever. Yeah. I think that helped him out and make him realize that he got to go out there and play his game. A lot of times, I put the emphasis on the coaches with a guy like Fields, with a guy like you seen what happened. You see what happened when these quarterbacks have coaches, and you see what happened when they don't have coaches. When they don't have good coaches, then we talking about they're bust already. You know what I'm saying? 3 years in, we talking about they're bust. or whatever when they don't have good coaching, you know. But here's the funny thing. Nobody's saying that about Justin Herbert. Like, and Herbert ain't won nothing. He put up good numbers, but he ain't won nothing. He ain't proved. Herbert ain't even proved he can win in the league. As a matter of fact, he got in the playoffs and then they lost a big lead. Now that's coaching. I blame the coach Staley. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying when they've lost. I think I saw a stat last night on them. They've lost 30. They've played 31 games or whatever that have come down to 8 points or fewer, and they and in 3-point games or whatever, they record is like 6-12 with Herbert. You feel what I'm saying? That's with Herbert playing. Like, you not winning in 18 games or something like that. You only won 6 of them. Like, Herbert don't win close games or whatever, but we still say, hey, he one of the best. And then he got the bag. He got the money.
I'm a Herbert fan in a sense, but I completely understand and get what you're saying. So you just said something that just struck something I just thought about, right? Coaches, quarterbacks usually are the reason that a team gets blamed for wins or losses, which now adds to the question in which I was about to ask is, right now, my MVP is Christian McCaffrey, but somehow, some way, Lamar Jackson and Brock Purdy keep creeping into the conversation. Why? Because they're quarterbacks. Even though Christian McCaffrey is clearly the engine that makes the 49ers go, we still continue to have the conversation that Purdy and Lamar are front runners for MVP. Why such an emphasis on coaches and quarterbacks in your decision, in your mindset, when it comes down to these teams being made or break when it's a team effort? Why is the coach or the quarterback always get the blame, even though sometimes it's not their fault? And why is the MVP, or anywhere for the most part, why is the MVP award strictly a quarterback award, seemingly, in your opinion?
Who making the most money? I mean, I think it goes along with the money right now. Like, remember when running backs was top tier and they was making the bread, then you had running backs, you know, like in the LaDainian Tomlinson in those times, you know, I forgot his name. He used to play for Sean Alexander, you know, like different, you know, but they transitioned from the running backs. It's never really been MVP, never really been receivers and stuff, you know, like I don't know why, but wide receivers just ain't never really been high on the list at all. But you know, like, but you did have some running backs that got in there and that were, you know, MVPs and stuff like that. But if you paying the quarterbacks all the money, then all the pressure is squarely on them. Like, they contracts are way bigger than a lot. You know, the next person, like, think about this on your team. The next person to the quarterback that makes money, close to the quarterback, is on your defensive side of the ball. It's normally the guy, it's normally your sack maker, your playmaker on defense. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's probably your D lineman. Like, receivers are nowhere in the ballpark. Running backs are nowhere in the ballpark. I mean, it's just, your skill players are just not high on the list. It's a quarterback driven league right now. It's all about quarterbacks from every angle, and the money shows it. So the pressure falls on the quarterback. So that's why the MVP is looked at as a quarterback. This year, I think for me personally, I think the MVP would be, you know, like, if they keep a record, I think it'll be Tyreek Hill, depending on where they finish. I think it should be Tyreek Hill, but he won't get it. And in a close second, it'll probably be Christian McCaffrey, but they won't, you know, like, unless the more people talking about it and the more people pushing and the voters vote different, it's going to be the same ones that you normally get. It's going to probably be a quarterback.
Blasphemy, in my opinion. So real quick, let's go over these. Let's talk about these games real quick that's coming up before we get into something else. Of course, tomorrow night we got 3 games slated. We in that time of the year to where they go Saturday night games is on and popping. We got the Vikings and Bengals, Steelers and Colts, Broncos and Lions. First off, starting with the Vikings and Bengals, who you guys?
I picked the Bengals to win that game. I see Browning beating Mullins. I was rooting for the Vikings, but I think the Bengals gonna win that.
I got what to say. I think Browning is the better of the backup quarterbacks right now. So in keeping in that, he has weapons, a lot more weapons than the Vikings quarterback with Nick Mullins. When you look at it, we don't even know if Justin Jefferson is going to be playing. So, but we do know Mixon, Chase, and company will be. He says, Powell says he'll has zero shot at the MVP. Next up, Steelers and Colts. Of course, you know, Gardner Minshew's at the helm. Trubisky's at the helm for the Steelers. The Steelers are just on the cusp of losing potentially this the opportunity to be have another season in which they have a winning record. Does it end here, or do the Steelers continue to ride? I know you have a certain feel about the Steelers there, Cornelius. So, what do you think, Colts or Steelers?
I'm going with the Colts. I think the Steelers. I think the Steelers are done because Mitch Trubisky. Oh boy, and not only that, Mike Tomlin. I said it earlier, and I'm going back to my statement. Now I gotta see that's why you ride until the season over. I saw it earlier on. It's time for Mike Tomlin to do something different. Like, I don't know if Pittsburgh is the spot for him anymore. Like, when is the last time they've been relevant? Yeah, you've had winning seasons, but when is the last time you won a meaningful playoff game? It's been like a decade since you won a playoff game. It's been a minute. So winning record and all, like, it's not working. And they haven't had and let's be real. They haven't had a decent offense in about 4 years. Like, a decent offense, you know, like, you got to go back to, you know, I mean, they just haven't had it. You know what I mean? So so in that game, I'm taking the Colts. I think Gardner Minshew is the better choice in that game. Pittman and those players, I think they're gonna get it done.
He said Mike Tomlin. I'm a Mike Tomlin hater, but he's making the best out of the roster. Pickett is mild, a mid. Najee Harris is a mid. So,
but ain't that coaching though? So look, this is my point right here. I get it. You got Pickett because he was a interstate favorite, like, you know, he like a hometown favorite or whatever at your quarterback. But the Najee Harris situation, Warren is a better choice, and you don't let Warren touch the ball enough, in my opinion. Why do you keep putting Najee Harris out there? That's a coaching decision right there, to keep putting Najee Harris out there and he not producing. So that's coaching.
So you look at it. So it comes down to you know what? It's guns and butter, baby. It's guns and butter. So when you sit up and Najee Harris is a first round draft pick, right? That's why Trey Lance, I know Bishop, we should always sit up and talk to me. That's why Trey Lance got the look to be the starter before Brock Purdy after what Brock Purdy did, because Trey Lance was a first round draft pick. You got to give him, it's like you can't let that pass you by without giving them an opportunity. So it had no. That's why Najee Harris is that. And then you got to take into consideration Najee Harris and Warren are two different types of running backs. It's the power. It's the lightning, thunder and lightning situation. But you clearly see that Warren can do what Najee can do and more. But Najee Harris is the bigger name. He's that running back, and he's a bell cow running back. So you got to give him his opportunity. But just like Jameer and David Montgomery.
No, man. Stop it. You got to, like, look, I'm just saying, I didn't say take Najee completely out of the game plan. What I said was give Warren more touches. You're going to throw the ball to him. Give Warren more touches. I'm thinking, Najee, man, your role should be reduced. You can't catch out of the backfield. Warren can do that. Like, you got to give your quarterback something else to work with. Like, you got Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. So you might have to lean on that running game a little bit more than usual. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you don't want the ball in Mitch's hands. You got to put it in somebody's hands. So put it in Warren's hands and get out the way and let the young man cook a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
See, that's what happened last week with the Titans when Derrick Henry got pulled for Najee Spears. And but I mean, of course, because they was in the passing game, and that almost cost me in my game, Lord Jesus. Who do you say Harris is a first round pick, but he's not the face of anything, maybe a failure. The best player, George Pickens, don't even want to be there.
Well, drunk, you got nobody to get him the ball. Like, He don't want to be there because nobody can get Pickett can't get him the ball consistently. Mitch Trubisky don't even look his way. Like that last Thursday night game against the Patriots, he never once looked at Pickens. He was throwing passes to Johnson, who his head ain't been in the game all season, in my opinion. You know, since he been back. Like I'm just saying, Pickens is the best player, but they don't throw the ball his way enough. They don't have quarterbacks trying to get him the ball. You got to get somebody to get him the ball.
So, of course, like you said, both of us were the Colts. What about this? Up and coming, roaring down the runway, the Denver Broncos and the Detroit Lions, who have been up and down since their hot start. Who are you going with on this Saturday night game?
Don't look now, Kansas City, but I got to eat crow on this one. I didn't even expect the Broncos to be where they are, but hey, if something was to happen, if the Broncos win Saturday and the Chiefs lose Sunday, they win in that division. The Broncos took that division from them, man. So I'm going with the Broncos. I think the Lions are struggling, and I think the Broncos, being 7-6 or whatever, I think they playing for it's a playoff game for them. It's really not as high stakes for the Lions, and so that's why I think the Broncos gonna come out and get that game.
So what you're telling me, that's coaching. You saying Peyton got him where he feel like he need to be. That's where we at right now.
Yeah, and I didn't remember early on, Trey. I didn't think he was gonna do it. I thought he was done. I thought Sean Payton was done, man. But I'm impressed with what he did. And then you saw the way they was getting beat down earlier in the season, man. Like they took some serious L's. Games weren't close. They weren't competitive. Now they competing on a different level. So I got to give it to the coaching. I got to give it to not just Sean Payton, but the defensive coordinator too, Vance Joseph, because he kept his job. Somehow he kept his job after giving up 70 points, and they doing, so and they playing better.
I just think this is a game built for the Lions, and I think the Lions are going to be able to pull this one out. They're going to probably humble the Broncos a little bit, put them back on ground, and be able to get finally their 10th win and try to continue to try to push forward to where they can secure their division. Because if they don't get this dub, it's going to be a whole trickle down effect to where we see Green Bay or even Minnesota potentially creep in there and snatch the division from them. The same way the Broncos, if they get a win, might be raring to snatch the division from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, that's why I'm saying get ready for that trickle down effect. Lions, yeah, man, the Lions, they was tough early part of the season. They're gonna struggle coming down the stretch, and it's just the way it is with them right now. I mean, you still can't change who you are overnight. Like they still got another year or two before the Lions are really, really a tough team.
So, of course, those are Saturday games. First up, as we was just talking about earlier, you got the Browns versus the Bears. Is this a Joe Flacco initiative, or do we see Fields win another one? And your man DJ Moore.
The Browns are playing for something, so you want the Browns to step up in that game. It's gonna be a close game, but I see the Browns. The Browns defense is just a little bit better, so I see the Browns winning that. I'm not looking at offense, Flacco or Fields or nothing like that. I'm looking at Myles Garrett and them boys on the defensive side of the ball. They're gonna make it happen. Browns.
I stay safe and go with the Browns as well. It's just one of those things in which I don't want to get too far on the Justin Fields train. And then of course, usually when I do that, then I end up taking the L. Next up, Buccaneers and Packers. Mayfield, Love.
I'm going Packers. I'm going Packers, which by the way, somehow at 6 and 7, like right now, if the playoffs was to start today, they're in the 7th seed. Like they would have the 7th seed right now. So I think the Packers gonna beat the Buccaneers.
I think the Bucks. I'm going with the Bucks. 1,000-yard receiver once again. 1,000-yard receiver in Evans. Godwin coming on. Rashad White tends to get it taken care of. I think the Buccaneers are up against a team in which they can definitely take care of, where Baker Mayfield just needs to be a manager, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Flacco for the win. Next up, the Texans home team, your home team, not your team, but your home team, and the Tennessee Titans. They just is this a game to where Levis could pull out another one, or does Coach Ryans get them back on track and we see the Texans get their 8th win of the year?
I hate to say it, but I took the Titans in this one, only because you don't know how healthy how healthy CJ Stroud gonna be in this game, and Tank Dell is out. I think Nico Collins is out. I think a whole lot of players for the Texans, impactful players for the Texans are out. So I think I went to the Titans just because of that reason. I think the Titans trying to upset some teams, and I think right now the Texans are up against the ropes.
Jets and Dolphins. Do we have another upset? Does the Jets have another upset as they are at 5 games? No one, I know I didn't. Did anyone else expect the Texans? I mean the Jets to be a 5-win team at this point, where they can maybe get to 8 wins for the year against the Dolphins, 9-4. They can expect the Dolphins to lose the other night to the Titans, but any Sunday, in this case, any Monday, who you got, Dolphins or Jets?
I took the Dolphins, man. The Dolphins gonna beat them, and they gonna beat them. I think the Jets defense gonna play hard, but I think the Dolphins gonna win that game. Easily. The Jets ain't going nowhere, man. 6 games is the ceiling for them. 7, and they were 7-10 last year, so 7 games is the ceiling for them, right there. 7-10.
So when you look at it, next game up, of course, is that game you mentioned earlier, which you said if the Chiefs was to lose. Unfortunately, I don't think the Chiefs lose in this aspect. They're playing 3-10 Patriots, or maybe do a catch a game where Billy Zappi and company come out guns a-blazing and putting the Chiefs on the back burner. But in state, just like Freddy Cougar would say, we don't believe in fairy tale kids. I don't either. I'm taking the Chiefs. Who you got?
The Chiefs. The Patriots, they scored against the Steelers, and then didn't score again in the second half. Like, they can't score points, and the Chiefs defense is a little bit better. So I'm going, I doubt if the Chiefs gonna lose. I think the Chiefs already reached a max of losses this year.
Yeah, 5. Is that what they're 85? 85.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Saints and Giants. Tom DeVito, baby. You see, we got it cracking. Got 2 games under his belt. The Saints are reeling, even they came off with a victory last week. Saints or Giants?
I went with the Saints because they trying to get into the playoff picture, and plus, being a Cowboy fan, I just can't do the Giants thing. Even though I like what DeVito doing, I like what DeVito doing lately. Remember, they wouldn't let him throw the ball early on when he first got on the field. They wouldn't let him throw the ball that game. But now DeVito, they winning. But the Saints, I got to go with the Saints one more time. Like, if they want the division, they need this game.
So I think the Giants just got past last week. The Saints, of course, ran through the team. But I don't know who to trust, man. I really don't. When you look at it, is it going to be Carr? I honestly don't know why Carr. I continue to say that Garoppolo probably would have been a better fit in New Orleans. But they bring in Carr, and I don't know what's going on with Carr. Is he does he not like beignets? I mean, I don't know what the case is. But the Saints is the better team. Although I think they're going to lose, but I go with the Saints as well. Next up, division game, the Panthers and the Falcons, 6-7 Panthers. I mean, Falcons, 1-12 Panthers. Division game, a game to be able to keep pace with the other two if they get the victories. Who you got, Falcons or Panthers?
I'm taking the Falcons in that game easily. Like, the Panthers, no. Like you like Adam Thielen. Your best receiver is Adam Thielen. You ain't winning.
Let's go, Thea. Let's go get him a dub. Next up, Commanders and Rams. I know you just said earlier it's division. Commanders is in your division. The Rams is in my divisions. I have Sam Howell as my fantasy quarterback. I need Sam to do something. In this case, I'm going with the Commanders. Who you got?
McVay and the Rams, man. McVay just unfortunate. Like he unfortunate right now. I mean, he one of the best coaches to me. That's unfortunate with his roster, with all the injuries and the inconsistency of having players in his lineup that can actually, the playmakers in his lineup to make plays, and then losing some real close games. Like they playing some real good games, and to be on the losing end of those games. But the Rams gonna win that game.
So last 4 games,
Puka Nacua,
rookie of the year,
2 touchdowns.
I'll be happy for 1, but 2, I don't know. That might be pushing it, especially with Cooper Kupp back in the fold. Last 4 games, of course, actually some pretty good ones or have pretty good teams playing. First and foremost of the slate, 49ers and the Cardinals. Does the 49ers continue with their dominance, or do they let Cardinals trip them up?
Man, they're going to beat the Cardinals like they stole something. Like, that's not going to be – that's a joke, right? They're going to beat the Cardinals, Brock Purdy will be sitting down. I don't think he's going to play the fourth quarter.
I was just waiting for time to get Sam Darnold some burn so he can kind of get implemented just in case. Next and foremost, probably a harder game for y'all. The Cowboys at 10-3, number two in the division. I mean, in the NFC conference, facing off against the Bills. The Bills are starting to pick up momentum. Does the Cowboys stomp that momentum, or do the Bills roll over the Cowboys and keep it pushing?
Woo, man. I'm picking the Cowboys, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills won this game at home. They need a win. It's a must-win for them. Every game from here on out is a playoff game for the Bills because somehow they last in the 7-6 teams over there. They last in the pack, so they got to win some games. But I'm taking the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys – I'm going to say the Cowboys going to win that one I think they're going to win it by like between 1 to 3 points, maybe 4 points, 28-24 or something like that.
28-24. Close games. Next up, Ravens and Jaguars. Is Trevor Lawrence ready for this game? Is Lamar Jackson ready for this game? Is getting ready to go down, of course. Sunday night main game, Sunday night game. Who you got, the Ravens or the Jaguars?
I got the Ravens because the Jags, they lost to the Browns, like a game that they should have probably won. They letting too many easy games slip through their fingers. Well, not easy, but winnable games slip through their fingers. So I think the Ravens top dogs over there in the AFC. I think they're going to beat them pretty handily too. I don't think it's going to be close.
Not to mention just being top dog, the Ravens are 5-1 in the away game. So this is a away game for them. The Ravens not too hot when it comes. I mean, the Jaguars not too hot playing at home. The stars are starting to line up, and it's not looking too good for the Jaguars. I go with the Ravens too. And last but not least, the Philadelphia Eagles will be facing the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. In this game, for me, it's more important for the Eagles to lose as opposed to the Seahawks to take an L. I'm very pulled in one or two directions, but I'm definitely going with the Seahawks in this one. I'd rather keep the Eagles down as opposed to have the Seahawks pull one out. We've already defeated the Seahawks twice in a year. No, we have them again. No, we defeated them twice in a year, so we're good. Who you got, Eagles or Seahawks? Even though I
hate to say it, but the Eagles gonna take out all their frustration from the last couple of weeks on the Seahawks. It's not gonna even be close. Like the Eagles gonna come out and beat them real bad. It's gonna be that's a Monday night game. That's gonna be a real bad beating for the Seahawks.
Could you see it could be a game with the Seahawks? What San Francisco did in the beginning of the season is what Philadelphia could be getting ready to do at the end of the season. Lose 3 consecutive games. and then
Okay.
come back and win the last 3 games of the year. But by that time, if y'all doing what y'all supposed to do, y'all already have the division in hand. Going to be a little
That's not. I don't see them losing this one. I just don't see them losing. I see them losing. I see the Eagles losing to the Giants more than I see them losing to the Seahawks.
Okay, I got you. So of course y'all heard that, you know what I'm saying, who we got. Let's move into this the NBA tip. As we know, a certain player from a certain team has been hit with a certain fine. Not even a fine. He hasn't even been fined, except for he's missing these checks, NBA checks. Draymond Green, is the suspension warranted in your opinion?
Wait, and it's kind of late. Like, they're a day late. The NBA a day late and $1 short with the indefinite suspension. Didn't he earn that last year when he punched what's his name in the face? And the NBA did nothing. They only let the Warriors handle it. When he punched Jordan Poole in the face, did he not? I mean, for real. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And I think it goes by who you are. They've given that dude chances. Okay, so I put it to you this way: if Ja Morant had punched his teammate in the face like that, we wouldn't be holding this cup. He would have been suspended when it happened. Draymond's been given, because he is a champion or whatever. I think they've showed him a little favoritism here and there. Nepotism is a real thing, people. and you saw it with Draymond, because how many chances you gonna keep giving this guy when he keep doing things like that? And then, like, he costing his team, and then Steve Kerr Steve Kerr still riding with him. Steve Kerr,
He said he agreed with the suspension. He thinks it's about time. It was about time. When you take into consideration all the things, Draymond suspended 3 times in 32 days. Like, I think it was more of a situation where the NBA had no choice. 3 times in 32 days, you had to suspend the same player. He averaging a suspension almost every 11 days. Like, it was about time, and maybe that might be a wrong way to look at it. But because it was
he choked the man.
He choked the man.
He UFC choked the man. It wasn't WWE, man. Like, he UFC choked the man. I mean, so. But I'm saying Steve Kerr, he just now speaking. The other day when it happened, he was like, I got nothing to say. And it's like, why you have nothing to say? It's like, is that acceptable on your team? Because y'all condoning the behavior. They letting the behavior go on. And they keep saying, oh, we need him. He's an enforcer. What is he enforcing? Y'all losing. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't look good. The team sucks. What is he enforcing? He ain't doing nothing but, just costing himself, really. I feel bad for the young man. And then Steve Kerr said he need help other than punishment.
Yeah.
I mean, he need both. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way our system works is, under normal circumstances, you assault people, you go to jail. And how much help? And we all know how much help our jail system is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just saying, normally you get punished. Normally, under normal circumstances, you get punished. So, yeah, but I'm sick of Draymond, man. I like Draymond. He a champion. I don't think he a Hall of Famer, but everybody keeps saying he a Hall of Famer. So I'm going to ride with that. And I'm just going to say this is not what you expect. But we've seen it happen before with the Dennis Rodmans, the Rasheed Wallaces and stuff. And I got my own opinion about that. As the people's coach, I think sometimes when your skills diminish a little bit, that's all you got is those tactics. When you know what I'm saying, when you can't cut it no more, all you got is those tactics. All you got is some underhanded tactics.
So Draymond is a Hall of Famer. Unfortunately, you got to look at his numbers compared to others. He's a Hall of Famer. He's going to get in the Hall of Fame.
What did Charles Barkley call him?
He's probably not
a single. A single.
He's probably not a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's going to.
No, what he said, a triple single.
Yeah,
how is that a Hall of Fame? Trey, how is that? I mean, never mind. We did that before, but I'm just saying, how is that Hall of Fame? I don't even understand. You don't even have the numbers to support Hall of Fame.
He's going to get in the Hall of Fame. Probably not a first ballot, but he's going to get into the Hall of Fame.
He ain't led the league in rebounds. Is it because he was Defensive Player of the Year like what 3 times maybe?
That's going to be enough to get him in.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is that all we were basing it on? Because
and he's a champion, 4-time champion. and he's a 4-time champion.
Okay, I seen a lot of those. You know, you know what I'm saying.
Again, like we already know when it comes to the eight. When it comes
Man,
to
Derek Fisher got 5 of those things, and he ain't talked about being in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying, like,
yeah, that's why he got 5 of them though. That's it.
I mean, I'm just saying, Derek got 5 champions. I'm just saying, like, some of these dudes are just, you know, like, I'm not diminishing Draymond's championships by any means. I'm just saying that I thought you had to have something unique to make the Hall of Fame, something special. You had to do something different that ain't been done, you know. So if you tell me that three defensive players of the year warrant that, then okay. But other than that, he ain't led rebounding, scoring, assists, nothing. He ain't led in nothing. Like, he got bottom tier numbers.
He's gonna get there.
So let me ask you: do you think the Warriors are gonna do anything?
With him out,
do you still think the Warriors are gonna do something?
So I think the Warriors potentially have. I mean, they still got Steph. It's like Draymond is their core. Was their core? It was Draymond, Steph, and Clay. Now Draymond's out. Now you replace Draymond with a committee in Wiggins, what's his name? Kuminga, Moody, Brzezinski. Like, they got other players now that can fill roles. Hell, Peyton the third, Peyton the second is still on the squad. So they got people that can fill the void, in my opinion, to be able to help out Draymond, help out what they're lacking in Draymond. It's just not Draymond-esque. Like, they got players that can score, in which Draymond didn't. They got players that could probably pick up a little bit on defense to kind of like replace what they lost and what they're losing in Draymond. I think they still have an opportunity to savor some games. Just last night, their first game without him, they were in competition with the Clippers, even though, you know, saying Harden dropped 28. Will Harden had dropped 28 if Draymond would have been on the floor for a Clippers team playing without Paul George. I don't know, you know what I'm saying, when it comes down to it, but they were in there for a second. They was right there. Like, they was in the last minute and 14 seconds, the Golden State was down by 4 points. So, I mean, I think,
but,
you know,
Curry only scored 17. Like,
yeah, because he didn't score. Yeah, like you just said, like Curry had a bad night. Clay was 8 for 12 or something like that from 3-point line for the 3-point. So I mean, in other instances, if it would have, Curry was 3 for 13 from 3-point. So if you flip that or remotely just give a little in that, take a little from Clay, give a little to Steph, it's a different game. So I think they're going to be all right. They're not playing Clipper caliber teams every night for that time frame. And again, we don't know how long this indefinite suspension is. What do you think when you hear indefinite? What are you thinking should be should he 20 games at minimum? What do you think?
I think they're gonna give him as long. Well, you know, this Silver, he likes to sit down with the players and see where they at.
And he has to meet. He has to make sure benchmarks.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have to make sure he gets therapy and all that stuff before he can check back in. So however long that take, like, you know, like whatever. I think 20 games maybe.
Do you think it's a lesson learned from what they did with John Morant, and they're going to enact that on Draymond?
Yeah, but like I said, I think it's a little late with Draymond. I think they should have did it earlier, especially after he choked Rudy Gobert. They should have been doing this earlier, and you could have prevented this latest incident where Draymond says it wasn't intentional. And I just got to say this: I'm one of those old heads who try to not say that the league is getting soft. But Nurkic didn't get up and do nothing. He laid there on the court like he got knocked out, like he was knocked out like in a boxing match or a UFC fight. He just laid there. Nobody on the Phoenix Suns, not even the player on the bench that's making minimum, rushed Draymond, did anything, said, I'm going to take one for this. I mean, that's just pitiful, man. I think the league, you got to suspend Draymond indefinitely, because I'm starting to see that these other players on these other teams are scared of Draymond. I mean, the Suns, nobody did nothing.
So
Nobody.
Because I mean, you get it's bigger than that nowadays. You gotta think that's what got Draymond in trouble.
But the league,
he rushed.
come on, man. You sitting on the end of the bench, you don't get no playing time. It's your time to shine right now. The coach might even start looking at you if you go out there and you get in Draymond's face. I'm just saying, like, you used to have teams like that. I'm just saying, in baseball, they would have cleared. In baseball, the dugouts would have cleared. It would have been an all-out fight. You know what I'm saying? In football, you see what they would have done. It would have been some helmet pulling, some slinging around, some other flags flying. I'm just saying, basketball, that's where we at now, is that a dude just slap a dude and nobody on his team stand up for him or defend. You know, nobody defends him. Yeah, that where they do that at? Like, you know, I just think if Draymond would have did that to the Clippers, it would have been a fight. If he'd have did that to the Lakers, you know the Lakers. You think a LeBron-led team is gonna do that? Stop it. I mean, I'm just saying, if it's the Bucks or anybody, then we see Giannis went crazy over basketball. Imagine what he would have done if one of his teammates got slapped like that. I mean, I'm just saying, like, the Jimmy Butlers and stuff, man, you think they're going to put up with that from Draymond? I think Draymond know who to mess with, too, is what I'm saying. The point I'm getting at is he know who to mess with.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without being said, like you said, if when it comes down to it, he does what he does to certain players. And you know what I'm saying, and he's going to get away. But I think it also comes out to some of these players, like you just said, like if he had done that to Anthony Edwards, we would have had a problem,
right?
So I mean, or other people what's other players that's out there that is with the shits and with.
What team is Patrick Beverly on? Because Patrick Beverly would have got thrown out the game right along with Draymond, and we know that for a fact, man. I'm just saying, like, and Patrick Beverly, he's 6 foot, you know. I'm just saying, like, but Patrick Beverly would not have that happen to his teammates. I'm just saying, it's like certain players in certain teams. I think Draymond know what he's doing. Like, he went after Rudy Gobert. I'm just saying, the people that he targeted, Rudy Gobert. Obviously, the Minnesota Timberwolves don't like him that much. You know what I'm saying? But then if you look at Nurkic, I'm just saying, man, like, nobody stepped in between. Nobody ran at the dude. Nobody did nothing. They just, wow. And then Nurkic just laid there. Where they do that at?
Nurkic had to sell it. That's what happened.
It was already sold. It was already sold, man. Like, I'm not condoning violence. I'm just saying that where's that intensity at? Like, man, you're not doing this to our team, man. Come on, man. I'm just saying, like, they used to stand up to the bullies, right? Not no more.
Yeah.
Not no more. I'm just gonna roll over and play possum. I'm just gonna play dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a whole seven. What? Nurkic, 7 foot? About 260, 270, 280. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all this big and I'm just gonna lay here and do nothing.
So, of course, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna do, but like I said, Draymond suspended for an indefinite amount of time in which we don't know. He has no idea when he'll be coming back. He said he has to meet benchmarks in which the league as well as the team put upon him. So there's no telling what those games would be. And then, like the coach was just saying, he has to come back and, just like anyone else, have a conversation with Commissioner Silver to see where he's at. So, like I said, hopefully Draymond gets the help that he needs. If anything, if it's help needed, it could just be a situation like what Cornelius was just saying. When you start to lose a little, you start to resort into other tactics to keep that edge, and that might be somewhat similar of the conversation. Now, going back into this conversation. Earlier, while we was talking about NFL, I said that when someone gave a congratulation text for the Lakers, I was like, that's what we do. We win championships. My counterpart here stated that, you know, saying, stop it. You know, saying that's what we done here. Do we or do we not? We got 17 of those things So what's going on, Jay? What's cracking with you? What's populating, bro? I gotta hit you up because I should be in Phoenix in a couple of months in February. So do we or do we not win championships? Let's stick to the facts. Do we or do we not win championships?
Stop it, man. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, the in-season championship. Okay, y'all won the thing, but was there any doubt that y'all was gonna win it?
Yes, every team, all 30 teams had an opportunity to win it.
Man, I knew from the well, how somebody like me just knew from the beginning that the Lakers was gonna win it, that LeBron James was gonna win the first one.
Yes, y'all think
LeBron James was gonna win the first one, like period. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying it's the in-season tournament. It's the first one, and then y'all gonna hang the banner. I thought Kobe said y'all don't hang divisional banners. Y'all only hang the finals banners. Remember?
Kobe said we only hear championship banners. The in-tournament season champion is a championship banner.
Man, come on, man. I'm just saying. All I'm saying is, yeah, I think it was. I'm not gonna say it was written, but I'm gonna say that once the tournament started, we saw which way it was going. Like, so
So think about this, right? It's saying this, right? Taking consideration this, right? The first 4 games were games in which were regular season games. The first 4 games, or was the first 6 games? Because I think the knockout rounds was the same as well. So those first 4 games was games that were counted against the season. So unless we're saying that they did that, now when they got to the quarterfinal, I mean the semifinal and in the finals, those games you can count. But we smacked up New Orleans.
But before that, though, the game before that is a game. You know what game I'm talking about? Where against Phoenix, where LeBron was giving that timeout. Like, come on, man, come on.
Do we or do we not see all the time where referees tend to make the wrong call? No different from when we was playing Boston in that game and Jason Tatum fouled LeBron James without unreconcilably was able to see that he fouled LeBron James, and when Patrick Beverly went and got the camera and he got fined and all that type of stuff, we seen where that the officials didn't get the call right. So why is it that when the official didn't get the call right and it was towards LeBron James?
No, okay, Trey. This is why. Because in a game like that where you play it for potentially $500,000, not only that, but check this out. It's an unprecedented call. You know, you got all those other referees on the court. The ref closer to the ball that could see the play should have overruled that dude and said, hey, you know what? They didn't have possession of the ball. But why didn't they do that? Because it was the Lakers, it was LeBron James.
No, you know why? You know what? Because I learned I learned it this past weekend while I was while we were at the Joe Hall Classic, and I was sitting there with of course Bishop, Bishop officiate, I officiate, and the I guess quote unquote our boss or the person that does the assignments for the officiating, he's a former official, and we was talking about that, and we was going over because I'm thinking about doing officiating in basketball. I officiate in flag football and football. I was thinking about doing basketball, which is different. So one thing which they always tend to talk about and drill that was trying to beat into my head is that every official on the court, whether it's 2 or 3 man mechanics, always has an area in which they make a call. So yes, there was an official that was closer to the ball, but he quote unquote did not have the right vantage point to see that to make the proper call. And so the official that made the call gave LeBron the timeout, but he did not see that Austin Reeves was not in possession of said ball. So it was just a blown call. I'm very sure they went through the 2-minute report, and the 2-minute report reported that there was a erroneous timeout given. Unfortunately, the game doesn't count towards anything. Then maybe that's why the call wasn't that much of a big deal. But what we do not want to do is create a narrative that said that this was done so the Los Angeles Lakers can walk away with the inaugural NBA championship because
Man,
I see.
it just looked
Go
like
ahead.
it. The optics looked like it, and then the Pelicans don't even show up to play. Like they lose by almost 40. It's like them
They
dudes
kinda-
didn't even just show up. Like they didn't even care. But nah, for real. I understand why they're doing it. But I do agree that I agree it from a standpoint that the NBA, they are trying to. It's like your man right here, Jay saying, man, they are trying to push the whole LeBron is better than Jordan narrative. So anytime that they can get a chance to highlight LeBron, that's what they're gonna do. It makes sense.
So you
Jordan,
you know what I introduce a new conversation, I think, to that point. Do you think Jordan, remove all bias, do you think that Jordan is better in his era than LeBron is in his era?
Yes, I think the only difference is social media. I think Jordan was clearly a bigger star in his time period, global. Like Jordan is the reason. Like, did you not see the footage and the documentaries of the Dream Team? Man, you had all those basketball stars on the Dream Team. You had Barkley, you had Magic, you had Bird. Those people over there in the foreign countries, they didn't care nothing but about Jordan. It was all about Michael Jordan. It didn't even matter that the rest of these dudes were there. I mean, you feel what I'm saying? Like, it was unbelievable. It's unbelievable. LeBron, I bet you when LeBron was a kid, he wanted to dunk like Mike. He wanted to be like Mike. Seriously. I mean, I'm just saying, I bet you he wanted to be like Mike. Like, same thing with the Kobe's. Same thing with the Dwayne Wades and all of them. They all wanted to be, everybody that was in LeBron's era, Carmelo and all of them, wanted to be like Mike. Mike was the standard. Like, Mike was a huge deal. Nowadays, if you ask kids,
It's LeBron.
I haven't seen too many kids that said they wanted to be like LeBron. I hear them saying they want to be Trae Young. I was teaching the kids and they wanted to be Trae Young, Steph Curry. They wanted to be everything other than LeBron. I'm just saying, like, the younger generations, they already off LeBron. You know what I'm saying? You see Jordan, they still talking about who the best? Is it Jordan or LeBron? So Jordan ain't done yet, but I think LeBron is pretty much, it's a done deal. Like, even when LeBron was in his prime, we was talking Kobe. We was talking an older guy, Kobe. Which, by the way, LeBron, you still owe may he rest in peace to Kobe, but you still owe us a couple of championships that you were supposed to be there with Kobe, and you never made it. Like, Kobe got there, you never did. Remember them commercials? I'm just saying, those commercials, they used to hype him up, and but my point being is, man, LeBron, LeBron is LeBron. He good, but if it wasn't for social media, his light wouldn't nearly be as much as Jordan, and we all know it. We all know it. That's why we all talk about Jordan. That's why Jordan, the shoes, even just take their shoes and everything else, LeBron's shoes don't sell like Jordan's to this day. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's true too. He does try to speak it into existence, but I'm just saying, Trey, when you go star power, all the way across the board, LeBron, don't you know? And then y'all move all that stuff for LeBron too. Y'all, the LeBron people, y'all come up with so much stuff. Y'all say, "Oh, well, he's a better all-around basketball player. He's better." No, man. If we talking just light and star power, it was Michael Jordan all the way. That's why he's still in the GOAT conversation. Like I said, his shoes still selling. I don't remember Gatorade. I remember LeBron like promoting Sprite or something, but I don't remember Gatorade having a whole song for you, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a whole song for you. Want to be like Mike, you know what I'm saying? LeBron remade Michael Jordan movie. He didn't even make his own movie. He remade Space Jam, did he not?
He did.
I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying, like, he remade Space Jam, like, so I think that says it all, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what? Like, going back into a reference to the tournament, right? I started to say something. Hold on, what did Jay say? As far as talent, LeBron is more talented. As far as dominance, is Jordan's legend status, Jordan's stars power while playing Jordan. So, all right. So in this conversation, right, what we have to take in consideration is the marketing. All that was thrown behind Jordan. Jordan was marketed as the face of the NBA. His shoe, he has his own shoe line, and that has been a astronomical money maker for Nike and the Jordan brand. He was marketed as such. Like when you take a look at things nowadays, we don't see that now. The only thing that continues to sell is Jordan's shoes for the most part, is making the money as far as we know from a certain standpoint. While Jordan was a player, he was marketed as such. McDonald's commercials, Gatorade commercials. We ain't see him in Nike commercials really that much, or the Jordan brand. But now, you know what I'm saying, that's what it is. So that was what back then it was. Without social media, you still had TVs because everyone didn't have cable, but they was on regular television, local channels. So that was the whole push and everything like that. So yes, he was a global brand because he was pushed as such. It's a little bit different now in certain aspects because now you have people have shoes and they have their own way to market, and there's so much to market. Think about now, Jordan has a team. Think about how many shoe brands. Puma has a lineup. Anta has a lineup. Like it's different. Like we talking about a shoe company that's over in China or that has a shoe that has the Dwayne Wade, Klay Thompson. Is it Austin Reeves or Alex Caruso? Like they have shoes. Like, come on now, this is what we're talking about now. So back then there was only one that was really pushing the line when it came down to a marketing aspect, and that was Jordan. Not even think about it. Shaq's had a market in a sense, you know what I'm saying? Later.
But
Starberries. Like,
but remember Converse rule of earth before. I mean, Jordan that's how you got to say Jordan. That's why you got to give it to Jordan as the GOAT of a lot of different things, because Nike was nobody. You know it as well as we know it. We was kids in those eras. Nikes were nobody, man. He helped bring Nike along. Like Nike would Nike be what it was without Jordan? Would Nike be what it is without Jordan? Like right now, I think those two are tied hand in hand, Trey. I don't think you know, like Nike, you know.
Jordan doesn't make new Jordans. He just getting people to buy retros. True that.
And they keep buying them. I mean, that's the point. That's the whole point. When you can keep selling something old, you know what I'm saying? When you can keep selling something old,
run the same play.
I don't even have to upgrade. I don't have to upgrade my style to be better than you.
But that's just a part of culture and a part of, you know what I'm saying? So that's a little bit different in my opinion.
That's like Jay-Z, right? That's like Jay-Z, right? Like, is Jay-Z really the go to rap?
Hell no.
Is he really the go? Like, so some people he the go to rap, right? But really and truly, what does Jay-Z sell? What Jay-Z sells himself on every record. Like, he just tells you that he better than you. You know what I'm saying? He tell you why he better than you. I got the hottest chick in the game. I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm front row seats. I got private planes. He don't sell you, you know what I'm saying? Nothing else but just that, like himself. And he doesn't have to change that. Same thing with Jordan. He don't have to change that. Like, he don't have to, you know, like, I like LeBron. I think LeBron has done a whole lot for the game. He's done a whole lot for the game. You know. I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's all he does is sell himself. He don't sell nothing else. Like, so pretty much. But it's one of those things where it's like he put himself in the, what I'm saying is he put himself in the GOAT conversation, like, by doing that. Like, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like so, he constantly tell you, if I ain't better than Big, I'm the closest one. Like, because, you know, Biggie is considered better than, you know what I'm saying? So he always trying to throw his name in the whole mix of that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so I'm just saying it's the same thing with LeBron. He keep trying to throw his name in there when it's like, man, you've already done enough. Your resume has proven enough. And I think I just don't, you know, I just don't think he's better than Jordan in certain areas. I don't think, you know, like, as a basketball player, man, they comparable. You know what I'm saying? But as a pure marketing thing, I mean, man, you know, like LeBron getting money. Like, this dude's a billionaire. We watching a billionaire that's still playing basketball right now. So let that sink in. But would he be a billionaire without Jordan? You know what I'm saying? Would he be able to get any of that without Jordan? You know what I'm saying?
Claiborne says, KJ said it. People so caught up on the past, they won't allow themselves to see the greatness we're witnessing. We've never seen LeBron before, ever.
Okay, so besides his longevity, what haven't we seen? I mean, for real. Besides his longevity, what haven't we seen? Because I just want to.
Do you think Jordan dominated the game, or do you think the Jordan-led Bulls dominated the game? Like LeBron has self-dominance over the course of.
Jordan came in the league at average 28 points his first year. Like, I'm just saying, he came in dominating as an individual. Like he was going to put the ball in the hole. He was going to do whatever. I mean, what I'm saying is real simple. It's like, look, man, it's like, what has LeBron done that we haven't seen? And what I'm saying is, like, they say we ain't seen nothing like LeBron ever. What haven't we seen? What haven't we seen? A guy that can get you a triple-double? Magic Johnson was doing that. I mean, what haven't we seen? I mean, a 4-time champion? We've seen that. So what has LeBron done other than longevity? Other than the longevity of his career playing 21 years, that's what's amazing, playing all these years. Other than that, what else? What haven't we seen?
So it's true that you just said.
What haven't we seen?
His longevity, but also the fact that his dominance at this age. Like, I don't know if it's do they relate to
what LeBron? Dominance? What is he winning? What dominance? What is he winning? I mean, for real, dominance is about winning. What is he winning? You know what I'm saying?
He hasn't won.
What is he winning?
He hasn't won a championship lately. I mean, they're 5 years removed from a championship. But think about that: 5 years removed from a championship. Just won an in-tournament championship. Just went to the Western Conference Finals. Like, he's still pretty. I hate to say it because I'm not a LeBron person, but I just speak from what I see as being factual. He's pretty good. He's still pretty.
He got like 2 bronze medals. Like, he got like 2 bronze medals. I mean, what I'm saying is, does he not have 2 bronze medals? Does he not have 2 bronze medals? I'm just saying, what has he done? Like, what has this guy done that is so? What I'm saying is, other than longevity, what dominance, man? In 20-something years, this man won 4 championships. In 21 years, let that sink in. 21 years, he won 4 championships. You know what I'm saying? In 14 or 15 years, Jordan won 6. What I'm saying is where's the dominance? Like, when he was supposed to be on top in his era, Kobe was dominating. Kobe was balling. Then Steph Curry came and surpassed him. Steph Curry got 4 championships just like LeBron. What has LeBron done? So that's what I'm saying. Like, when we really want to talk, let's take nothing away from LeBron's career, but what has he done that we haven't seen besides his height, 6'8", 260 built, different, or 270 or whatever, fast, speed. What has he done in the game of basketball that we haven't seen? Jokic doing the same thing that LeBron does, and already got a championship. We got 1 championship under his belt. But what I'm saying is, what has LeBron done other than longevity, Trey? Like, I just want to know.
I still think he's dominant even in late in his years. He's still so again.
That's what I'm saying. Besides longevity, what else do you have?
Not saying that the goalposts, but this is what we mean by the goalpost moving. So we just set up and said that how Jordan is still in the conversation. Even though we're talking about his still in the conversation as of late, LeBron is still in MVP conversations, and he's the oldest player in the league, and he's still in MVP conversations, and he's still the person that they run the offense through. LeBron is his outside of the longevity, because longevity doesn't do it. He's still dominant even at his age. He's dominant still. He might not be dominating the whole in the NBA, but he's a dominant player. Like, if you sit up in like, if you had to choose 10 players, is LeBron one of the 10 players you're going to choose? Out of all the players, 450 players right now in the league, is LeBron one of the 10 players in which you're going to choose on your team? I'm even willing to say he would be one of your top players in which you choose.
On my team, not. You know what I'm saying? I can name 10 players right now in the NBA that I would take, 10 younger players that I would take over LeBron.
Please give me 10 players that you would pick over LeBron.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna start off with the guy that he played with. I'm gonna start off with AD. I would take AD right now over a younger AD over LeBron right now. Like seriously. And then not to mention Jason Tatum. I would take Jason Tatum. I would take, but realistically, I would take Giannis. You know what I'm saying? I would take a healthy Kawhi all day long. I would take like I said, Tatum, Brown. I would take both of those guys over Jimmy Buckets right now. So that's 5 right there. And then you throw in I like KD's game a little bit. So I would take a KD right now where he is in the stage of his career over LeBron. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the Gilgeous Alexander. I like him. Anthony Edwards. I like him. And I take what's his name over him. You know what I'm saying? And I also take the De'Aaron Fox, and don't forget Jokic. I ain't even named Jokic and Embiid. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying it's more players that I would take right now over LeBron. And it's just there's no knock against LeBron, man. LeBron, he balling. Like for his age, he's balling, man. And there's no knock against LeBron. Like, but what I'm saying is everybody always say that it's something that we haven't seen before. But the only thing we haven't seen before is somebody that do it this long, longevity. Like the longevity is the only part we haven't seen. But as far as what he does, number wise, as far as what he does, we've seen this done before. And we see other players doing it at a higher clip right now. Like Jokic is a triple double almost every night. You know what I'm saying? We watch Russell Westbrook average a triple double for a season. You know what I'm saying? 2 seasons or 3 seasons or whatever in a row consecutively. What I'm saying is that. Sometimes the metrics change for LeBron James, whereas like, hey, yo, like I said, whereas when you start comparing eras, it's like, yo, one is still popping 30 years later just because, and you ain't got to move the goalposts, you ain't got to move nothing. He was just that dominant. He was just that dominant in his era. LeBron, I don't feel like he's dominated in his era, whereas like, like he's been good in his era and he's dominated here and there, but really and truly, like, no, not as a body of work, man. 20 something years by now, he went to 10. Now I give it to him 10 championships. You went to 10 of those things, but you weren't winning those things. Like you weren't winning those things. And I just feel like, maybe if he won, if he had 5 or something, then you can say, oh, then yeah, he win it every 4 years, he get a championship every 4, or whatever. But now you say every 5 years, he played 21 years, he got 4 championships. Every 5 years, he win a LeBron James team win a championship. I mean, that's cool if you want that to be cool for you, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, in 21 years, Tom Brady had 7 of them things. So that's like every 3 years he win a championship. I think I like those odds better. I'm just saying. Like when you think about it, it's not the same.
It'll be an ongoing conversation. It's just what we definitely know. It's just he's definitely like at this point, numbers, right? Do you say numbers speak to a player's consistency, right?
Right.
So LeBron almost, and I'm just like, again, please let it be known that for people out there, I am not a LeBron guy. I just like I said, I just feel like I speak on what I think is factual. LeBron holds almost every all-time record in the NBA. Some of them he's just not going to touch. It's going to be he's not going to get the all-time assists, but he's in top 10, if not top 5 in assists. He's not going to get the most 3-pointers made, but I think he's in top 10 in 3-pointers made. I don't know. But he, as far as points, rebounds, and stuff like that, he's like a top guy. Games played, he's a top guy. So when you start to look at that, I just look at it as, and this is, I mean, we could say it's just like, so saying that he's played 20 years is almost similar to the people who I seen a post the other day that said that the Lakers, someone made out a point about who the Lakers played to get to the tournament and the tournament championship, and who they didn't get a chance to play based on the records. who cares in the state? Like all the same teams had the opportunity to get to the championship to where they could have faced off against the Lakers. It wasn't the Lakers' fault that the Pacers beat the Bucks. The Bucks had an opportunity. It wasn't the Lakers' fault that the Celtics wasn't there. They all had an opportunity. They didn't take care of the business they needed to take care of to put them in position to be at the championship. However, the Lakers did. So the simple fact to say that, oh, these teams, like this is who the Lakers went through, everyone had an opportunity. The Lakers were only in the group in which they were in because of their record previously. They had an all right record the previous year. They was like a seventh seed, and they stood up and took care of business. That's just what it came out to be. So it's like, but it's the same thing, like saying that Jordan had an opportunity to play X amount of games. He decided not to. When he was, you can say he was pretty efficient when he did play his games because he had 6 championships. He took a 2-year break and then came back and won. He had 3, took a 2-year break, came back and won another 3, and then had a couple of years after that in which he played. But he didn't play as long as LeBron did. LeBron has been fortunate enough to continue to extend his lifespan in his NBA career, and he's making the best of it. And I think that's just what it comes out. So of course, there's different eras and stuff like that. If we was to sit up and get someone to do an analysis to break it down over, okay, what if Jordan played additional 6 years and what he was doing at that particular time, and LeBron is doing that, or get them to sit up and say, okay, we're going to put LeBron in saying what would be his outcome if he was in that era or a case like that. I'd be interested to know what the numbers would be. Because it's different. I mean, different ways, or even to set up and put them both in the same and see what those numbers would be. I think it would be interesting. I mean, of course, it'll still continue to be circumstantial, and we wouldn't be able to really say. But I think in the in-state, I think LeBron would actually probably come out if you put it. If you go with what, not saying Jordan at his prime, LeBron at his prime, because that's not fair. Because it's different. But if you was to sit up and go with the trajectory of how they were going. Do you think Jordan 20 years would be as effective as LeBron 20 years?
I think Jordan 20 years would have been more so effective, and I think the scoring title. I mean, I think that scoring leader that LeBron put up. I mean, Jordan's still like top 5 right now, man. And look how many less years he's played than LeBron. Let that sink in. On the scoring on the all-time scoring list, he's still top 5. Do you feel what I'm saying? Like, he number 5 or whatever on that list, and he played 6 years less than LeBron or whatever. LeBron is like 21st year. So what you're looking at is this right here. I think that certain things would be out of range. I think that Jordan would have been just as effective, but his game he wasn't Air Jordan no more. You know what I'm saying? Knees was bad. He was playing back to the basket, fadeaways and stuff like that, man. And I just never seen nobody that competitive, including LeBron. I haven't seen LeBron just be that competitive as far as what we saw with Michael Jordan. I think that competitiveness, they used to call it killer instinct or whatever, but I just never seen that in another person. So when you say that we've never seen anything like it before, you've never seen a competitor like Michael Jordan since, and that's why basketball has been taking hits. Especially in recent years, you haven't seen no competitors. I mean, in LeBron's era, basketball has taken several hits as far as levels of competition. I mean, did we not have to get an in-season tournament to have these dudes come out playing from load management and all that? I mean, I'm just saying, like, in totality, it seemed like when Mike played, everybody wanted to beat him. Everybody wanted to compete. Everybody wanted to play. I'm just saying, it's a different era. I totally get it. But in LeBron's era, you seen the slack off. Like, you seen the slack. Like, you didn't see that. And maybe that had something to do with the commissioner as well back then, the David Stearns or whatever, making sure that the brand was represented. But it's like, yeah, in LeBron's era, even the other players seem to want to, like I said, load manage, slack off. It ain't as serious as it was to me before. Maybe it was the pay difference. Maybe it's now the guaranteed contracts. Maybe all that stuff plays a part into it. The things that LeBron has brought to the game, right? you know, but shortly after LeBron came into the game, like LeBron came fresh out of high school. So why do they have a rule that you can't come out of high school no more? Like, I mean, I just think that certain things that, like when you look at all of the body of work in totality, why do the certain things happen after? It's like LeBron wanted to be like the last of the Mohicans or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a couple that came after him. Like the Sebastian Telfairs and stuff like that. Like certain people came after him, but you know they didn't really make it a big impact. But my point being and all that, man, is that when we talk these eras and when we talk these different things, it's always going to be a debate over which era was better. I'm not saying that the older era was better than LeBron's era. What I'm saying is that if we talk in individual, I just like Jordan better. I think Jordan got a better body of work. I think Jordan was something that we truly had never seen before. You ain't seen a guy glide in the air like that since. Name one person that float in the air like that. That's why they called him Air Jordan. Name one person that was so creative in the air like that. Like you see LeBron, he go in for monster dunks. He just dunk it. Like that's why he's never been in a dunk contest, in my opinion, because he just does the basic stuff. What I'm saying is that you take away the 20 years of LeBron playing, and that's really all you got with LeBron is a 4-time champion, a businessman off the court. Like the things that, to be a billionaire while he's playing or whatever, I think that's great. I think those things are great. But as far as a basketball player, as far as me being a diehard fan and loving basketball, I just think Mike was better, man. Like I think Mike brought elements to the game that was exciting. I mean, all the way around. I mean, I just think LeBron is a great basketball player. Take nothing away from him as far as a player, but I feel like he falls short of the mark for me in certain areas.
Okay, I got it. That's what's up. I can rock with that. Like I said, I am not in any way, form, or fashion a diehard LeBron fan. He's a Laker. Yeah, it goes there. He wouldn't be the first, but it's just where I look at it and listen to it. And as you get older, you start to learn things, to see things differently. And so I still have a different outlook on Kobe. I have a different outlook on LeBron, Jordan, and all that type of stuff. But it will continue, and at some point, maybe it get to a point to where it can be a conversation to where it's like, okay, this is what it is. So it's funny you bring up load management, right? So in which I'm gonna check out some. What was that? Wednesday night. Lakers against the San Antonio Spurs. As we all know, that was night in which LeBron didn't play, in which I didn't know. I was at the game that particular night, in which LeBron didn't play that night. So it was I didn't know LeBron wasn't going to play when it went to the game, but I was never in 1,000 years or a lifetime would I had thought, oh, I'm going to be at a game when I pulled up and see a Laker game, that LeBron isn't going to be in said game. But of course, that's exactly what happened. As I looked and I was sitting there looking, and I was like, I don't see LeBron. And sure enough, he wasn't there. Victor Wembanyama was, of course. Anthony Davis there was, of course. The Lakers at some point in the first quarter walked away with the game, was walking away with the game. And as I'm sitting there looking at it and wondering, as I'm sitting up and watching, as slowly but surely San Antonio is walking back into the game and down with seconds remaining within a field goal of tying the game. I was like, ain't this something? But so what's interesting enough, as I can pull up, that has been going on, which everyone is talking about, is the film of the a particular player that he was an airman. Shout out to the Air Force, an airman that basically was at the game. He had just graduated from his duties. He had just graduated from becoming an airman that morning, earlier in the afternoon, and he just happened to be at the Air Force game, right? I mean, at the San Antonio Spurs game being that Force Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland Air Force Base is here in San Antonio, and he just happened to be there, right? So he was lucky enough to get a call for him to come up and be at the to participate in an event. So the event in which he participated in was he had to make a free throw, make a layup, a free throw, and a 3-pointer, and he was going to be able to get walk home with a prize. I can't remember what the prize was, but in-state is, let's see, hold on for a second. This was the in-state. Hold on. Oh, 1 second. Let me see if I can bring this up. Damn it. It won't let me bring it up. Well, hold on. It might. Let me see something. Bear with me for a second. I have to put it into another program. See. Keep on now. It won't let me drop it. Oh my goodness. I guess it wasn't meant for me to play it, so it won't let me drop it. But it's basically, if you're able to catch it, it's the airman. He goes out with the first his first attempt to make the free throw, throws the ball into the stands, and then he turns around again and try to make, like in-state, he didn't make not a single shot in-state from when it came down to when it came down to it, he didn't make not a single shot, and basically walked off the court and without nothing. In which, okay, here we go. Let me see.
I was gonna say that would have been me right there. That's why I'm a fan. That's why I watch. That's why I watch.
But in any case, it was crazy. It was you have to see it. Which of course I was in the stands yelling "Go Air Force" when it was all going down. But you know what I'm saying, of course, in-state he's a service member now serving our country. So that is always a good thing. But you know, say besides that, it's been a great show talking and rapping with some of y'all. Y'all know we try to be back when we can. Of course, you know, saying good things coming up as we look to start doing some things. I hope y'all appreciate it. You know, saying it's bowl season. The bowl games are finna get to cracking and start cracking and getting going. If y'all check those games out, of course we'll be seeing some of them, and we'll definitely be back. So before we get up out of here, Coach, any last words?
Yeah, I want to say next time, man, maybe a little less LeBron and Jordan, and let's hit on these Suggs and you know what I'm saying. Let's hit on these Suggs and Bancheros. These young boys, man, they coming. Like the changing of the guard, KD, LeBron, Steph, these young dudes coming, man. They coming for y'all spot like pretty soon.
That conversation is definitely coming. We got to make sure we set that to where that could be the topic to where it's like you said, the who's next. You got Ja Morant coming back December 19th. Is he in that conversation? You got Anthony Edwards coming back from his injury. Is he in that conversation? And some of the older, younger dudes that are in here, are they still in it? Luka Doncic dropped 39. He dropped 26 or 28 points in the first quarter yesterday, but they end up losing. Is he coming? So that conversation is basically coming. And so, I'm saying, if anyone wants to be on that conversation, feel free to reach out so we can try to make it to where we can have you conversation. Coach Wayne, I'm with you. Lakers in 4. I believe it. If no one else does, I believe it.
Lakers
Again,
in 4, what? What are we talking?
Lakers in 4 come the end of, what's that, in June?
Oh, boy, come on.
In any case, we appreciate y'all tapping in with us, listening. Anything? Before we get up out of here, go ahead and do your plugs.
Oh yeah, just check me out on Die Hard Fan Show coming to YouTube, starting up that, and check out my book. I'm dropping a book next month, mid-January, right before. It's a romance novel, so check me out. Moments of Intimacy. For the fellas with the ladies, that'll be a good gift to get your ladies. Thanks for having me on, Trey.
Oh, you know what? All the time, bro. Anytime. So until next week, in which we tap in with y'all again, y'all stay easy. Enjoy y'all weekend. I know it's not saying I'm there, but I'm there. I'm definitely there. We'll holler at y'all. Peace.